I used to run 100-mile races, but the first time that they let me run after my heart attack, I was terrified to take a single step. I remember I took a wrong turn in a race one time, and this was a 100-mile race. It was in Vero Beach, Florida, and I took a wrong turn at mile 50. I was supposed to actually take a turn, and I went straight. I added 3.5 miles to the course at mile 50. So my mile 50 of this race was actually mile 53. And what happened was I called the race director and I asked a question that I would never in a million years ask. But I said, listen, Mike, I made a mistake. I said, can my buddy drive me back to where the mistake was made? I'm off course. I figured my mistake out. And he said, Mario, you know, if I let you do that, all the other race directors will kill me. It's ultramarathon code. You can't do that. So I had to run back to where I made my mistake. So at mile 50 of the race, I was actually at mile 53, and I ended up at mile 57 in a 100-mile race. When the race was only supposed to be, 100 miles, it ended up being 107 miles for me. And I remember I finished the last mile of that 107 at a 9:15 pace. I ran as fast as I could that last mile. I wanted it to be over with so bad. It was my fastest mile of the entire race, was my last one, 107. I tell you the story of this race to let you know that when I'm on that treadmill in cardiac rehab and I'm struggling, running at 5 mile per hour pace, and I'm struggling and I'm so tired afterwards, I ran 7 extra miles on top of 100 just a few years prior with no problem. I went to work. It ended on Sunday. I went to work on Monday. I couldn't walk that good, but I went to work that following Monday. I had been waiting weeks and weeks asking the people at the cardiac rehab, can I run? Can I run? Can I run? And they always said, no, not yet. Steve won't let me run. Don't worry, Steve. I'm not putting you in there. But Steve won't let me run.
Nope.
I want to run. At cardiac rehab, the only thing I was really allowed to do was I would go on the treadmill, we'd warm up, and then we would increase the speed of the treadmill to like a fast walk, and then we would increase the incline, and I would do kind of like intervals on walking faster and incline and this, and I would break a sweat. And then they started letting me do like super light weights, nothing impressive. So I'd been waiting for this moment for them to say yes. I was terrified, but I was excited and I wanted to run. I wanted to feel how you feel when you're moving faster than a walk, I wanted to run. And it was like every week I felt like I was getting closer and closer, but I didn't know when they were going to let me run. And I was okay with doing whatever they told me. And this is something that's so important. If you're going through it right now, if you had a heart attack and you were super active, and I used to run 100-mile race. I ran a marathon. If you saw any of my videos, I ran a marathon like 2.5 weeks before my heart attack, 3 weeks before my heart attack. So when I was told that I can only walk and that I wasn't allowed to run, it affected me greater than it's going to affect most of you. And I'm not saying that to set myself aside. I'm just saying that to let you know that you're going to be okay. Do what they tell you to do. Just trust me. Do what they tell you to do in rehab. I accepted my fate. I'm a walker now. I'm a walker. I'm no longer a runner. I'm a walker officially. I will walk. This is what I have to do for my heart. I don't remember the day, but I remember it was probably like a month into cardiac rehab, and I walked in like regular, and the specialist that I saw all the time, he said, get ready today. And I was like, what are you talking about? He said, today we're gonna run. And I said, I was excited. Even though I was scared on the inside, I didn't show that, but I was like, really? I was like like a dog, like a puppy dog. And he was like, yeah. He's like, we're, nothing crazy, but we are gonna put the treadmill up and you're gonna run. So, I went on the treadmill like normal. I did my like 5-7 minute warm up, got my blood flow, and then he put the treadmill up to 5 miles per hour, which is not that fast. They're letting me run. They're letting me run, baby. I'm a big boy. Thanks, Steve. Thanks,
do it, man. Do it.
It's not that fast if you run at all. He put the treadmill up. I started, running a little bit, jogging, and we did 1 minute of running and then like 2-3 minutes of walking to recover. And let me tell you something. I have earned the recovery I have from this heart attack. And I've mentioned that, and I will continue to mention it, because when I ran on that treadmill for 1 minute at 5 miles per hour, I needed like 3 minutes of just walking to even be able to think about doing it again. My heart rate shot up. I was out of breath. I was like, and to be honest with you, I was excited to run and I was hopeful and I felt good, but I also felt like a little bit in that moment when I saw how difficult it was, when I felt how difficult it was for me to do this light trot and how tired I was after that, I was scared that I was never going to be able to do what I enjoy doing again, that I was never going to be able to run and not be completely fatigued, because even that night after cardiac rehab, when I went home, I was so tired. We talk about the difficulties mentally of a heart attack. When we talk about how difficult it might be for one person to the next, my heart attack doesn't look like everybody else's heart attack. Everyone's different. But what I can tell you is that me knowing that this person that's done these things is inside of me and then was struggling to even walk at first, and then let alone when they let me run on the treadmill, this has been a very, very, very challenging mental battle, regularly, constantly, consistently, mentally draining and difficult. It's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this. It's helping me get it out. It's helping me give it to you. It's helping you give me feedback on what's going on with you, my fellow survivors. We all help each other. It's a two-way street. So when I was on that treadmill and I was running, I felt like maybe there was some hope that I could get that guy back. And I continued to show up to cardiac rehab. They continued to put me on the treadmill. They continued to put it up a little bit. I continued to try to push the envelope. Once I knew I was safe, I wanted to go a little bit faster for a little bit longer. I understand how the body works. I don't understand how heart attack recovery works, but I knew I was taking it slower than I really could have, even though I was so tired. I knew that there was more in my tank to push, and I never pushed 100%. I only pushed about 60% each time, and that was enough to tire me out, but I was making progress. I was making progress, and I know I was making progress because I was tracking my heart, and each time I ran on the treadmill and I ran the same speed or a little bit faster, my heart rate number was a little bit lower. And those two things, that's what you want to see. You want to see, as you get faster, your heart rate stays lower, or if it does go up, it drops fast. You don't want to see it stay up high, after you're done with the activity. And I started making serious progress, and then I started going for runs outside of cardiac rehab, and I started working out in the park with my friends again, and I started running with them again, and things started to progress. And the name of this series is Rebuilding After Widowmaker. I had a Widowmaker heart attack that almost killed me, and I didn't think I would ever run again, and I did. And when I did do that first run at cardiac rehab, I realized something, that for the first time since my heart attack, I stopped thinking about what the heart attack had taken from me, and I started thinking about what my life could still become. Listen, we're dropping episodes of Rebuilding After Widowmaker every Sunday at 9 a.m. The next episode, we're going to talk about 100 days after my heart attack and what that day was like, what it meant, what it felt like. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching.